Hi, I'm Dave Senkfor with TopGun Consulting. I was just thinking a little bit here on what it took to make this car, my 1967 Chevelle, and the number of people that it took at Chevrolet to actually make it. And I just cannot imagine what the HR responsibilities were for the manager to handle all those people. But at the end of the day, they're really not a whole lot different than your average shop. However, I would say that there really are two important things you need to consider when you're hiring a person. Clearly, we're not going to discuss today. It may be hard to find a person right now, but let's say you've decided to hire a person. The two things you really need to consider up front are, number one, you have to do a culture analysis of what your place is really like and what kind of people would fit in there. Such as if you got a workforce that's really excited, about things and they're sales oriented and so forth, you really wouldn't want a Debbie Downer in there. That's really not a good thing. However, if your workforce is a little more laid back, you may not want somebody that's really all hyper all the time. So consequently, you've got to find the right person. And the other most important thing, of course, is to get a good job description going. You have to write down what the responsibilities and so forth are for that job, and then find the person to fit the job. And once you do find a small group of people, at that point you actually have to check their references, and also you may have to even test them on certain functions that may be critical to the job. Of course, their ability perhaps to use like Microsoft Office products or possibly other certifications that they carry. You have to check those out and make sure they are indeed valid. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention you also probably have to do a drug test in this day and age just to get through it. So those two things are very important, and let's assume you found that person, but for some reason, on the other hand, it just isn't working out. The key then, unfortunately, is you're going to have to just fess up to the mistake and do what's right, and unfortunately let that person go. Old saying goes, you hire slow, fire fast. It really, unfortunately, has to be that way, and you've got to move on. If you let that person stick around, unfortunately, it's going to become a cancer, and you're just going to have a problem, and eventually you're going to have to make the same move in any case. So basically, that's about it for the month. Again, I'm Dave Senkfor with TopGun Consulting, and if you have any HR questions, please feel free to give me a call.